Or Sandpoint, it's kind of like picking between a dynamic, fast-paced offense like the Miami Dolphins or a steady strategic defense such as the Baltimore Ravens. So let's go ahead and find out what side of the ball is going to be best for you. Let's get going. My name is Ben Geanetta. I'm a real estate professional and team leader of Elite Realty Partners right here in North Idaho. If you're planning to make a move to the area and you want to learn everything that there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, the bad of Sandpoint, then make sure that you subscribe down below and you smash that bell icon. You can also find a link to my calendar in the description below, and you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me to discuss this video or anything else that's related to North Idaho. Now let's go ahead and start comparing Coeur d'Alene to Sandpoint and see what the best option for you is. You're going to notice in this side-by-side comparison, Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, that there's a ton of similarities, but I'm going to make sure that I hit on the finer details that just might be the difference maker of what you're looking for as you consider relocating to God's country right here in North Idaho. You likely already know that these two towns, they're close to one another, about 42 miles to be exact. Coeur d'Alene is to the south, Sandpoint's to the north, and if you care about the size of town that you're going to move to, make sure you pay attention. In Sandpoint, the population is right around 9,000 people, and that's people living within the city limits. While the county population, which is Bonner County, is 49,491 people. That information is updated as of 2021, and so since we're in 2024, of course these numbers are going to be a little bit higher. Now, in Coeur d'Alene, there's 55,904 people living within the city limits, and in the county, which is Kootenai County, there's 179,789 people. Again, data from 2021. And you did hear me right. There are more people living within the city limits of Coeur d'Alene than the entire county of Sandpoint. Again, Bonner County. I know. You must be thinking, well, Coeur d'Alene and Kootenai County, they must be larger, and therefore there's more people living there. And that's not entirely true, other than Coeur d'Alene is larger than Sandpoint. Kootenai County spans 1,237 square miles, while Bonner County spans 1,733 square miles. And when you add all that up, the density of Coeur d'Alene and Kootenai County is much heavier. So if you're looking for a slower pace of life, some outdoor room, and where you're not tripping over people, then Sandpoint is going to be the better option for you. Now let's talk about affordability and specifically housing affordability. For the longest time, Coeur d'Alene was more expensive, and if you wanted to find a deal, or if you wanted your money to go further on a home, you would start looking in Sandpoint and Sagal, Hope, Priest River, and some of the other northern towns. Well, a few things have happened now. Sandpoint, for one, it got discovered. Back in 2012, it was ranked as the most beautiful small town in America by USA Today and Randy McNally. Then in 2020, COVID happened, and that drove millions of city folks from the big cities into smaller rural communities. I mention all this because Sandpoint is now on par with Coeur d'Alene when it comes to housing affordability. At the end of 2023, the median price of a home in the town of Coeur d'Alene, meaning you have a Coeur d'Alene address, so this is going to include rural homes as well. The median price of a home was $607,000, while the average household income of $65,786. In Sandpoint, with those same parameters and time frame, the median house was $666,450, while the average household income $53,567. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be more job opportunities and higher paying jobs in Coeur d'Alene than there is in Sandpoint. And that is something that you should strongly consider taking into consideration when you're going to be planning a move to North Idaho. But if you have a remote job or you're retired, then that whole job aspect on pay and job opportunities shouldn't weigh in as heavy as others. Now let's talk about the weather. And this is one of the most asked questions I get asked when people are thinking about moving to Coeur d'Alene or Sandpoint. Now remember, Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, they're only 42 miles apart, but the weather, it is different. There's a noticeable difference as well. The average rainfall in Coeur d'Alene is about 27 inches, and 42 inches of snowfall, and there's about 174 days of sunshine. Now, if you compare that to Sandpoint, you have an average rainfall of 31 inches and 58 inches of snowfall with 175 days of sunshine. Obviously, the biggest difference is going to be the snow amount. Rain and the amount of sunny days is pretty on par. The one thing that I do want to point out, there are microclimates in each area, but in Sandpoint, there's a pretty big microclimate in the Selly Valley. It's the snow belt, and it's going to get a lot more snow. And when I drive from Sandpoint down to Coeur d'Alene, this is typically how it goes. When I'm north of Sandpoint in the Selly Valley, I'm like, wow, there's a ton of snow here. I get to Sandpoint, it's like, okay, there's snow here. Then I get to Athro, I'm like, okay, it snowed here like a month ago. And when I get to Coeur d'Alene, it's like, did it just get a dusting? So the amount of snow and how long it stays on the ground, but a pretty good illustration of what you can expect. Now, before you leave me a comment asking me how dark are the winters up here, am I going to see blue skies? Well, yes, you are, but there's going to be a lot of gray skies too. It's not going to be 4 or 3 or even 2 straight months without seeing the sun. There's going to be maybe 2 to 3 weeks where the skies are going to be gray, and then you're going to get a couple days of sunshine, and then it goes gray again. But it's not going to be like this low fog where you can't see anything. Don't expect that, which is a good thing. What you will notice, instead of planning your summer vacations to escape the heat, most people up here, they're going to plan their vacations to escape the cold and the winter. So if you're somebody who has a concern about gray skies, then go ahead and plan your Arizona and Florida vacations in the wintertime. And here's going to be a bonus tip for you. Go see Melinda Adams over at 7B IV Trinity Wellness Center in Sandpoint. She can give you a vitamin D injection, and that's going to help maintain a strong immunity system, strengthen your bones, decrease inflammation, and help regulate your blood sugar. This is super vital when we're in the wintertime and the sun is not poking out as much as it should be to get that important vitamin. Now, let's look at activities that you can do in Sandpoint and Coeur d'Alene. If you have a family, or you just want the convenience of all the city amenities such as parks and parades, downtown lifestyle, and things of that nature, take a strong look into Coeur d'Alene. I cannot say enough good things about McEwen Park, Tubbs Hill. They're both amazing. They're right at the Coeur d'Alene Lake in downtown. Plus there's Fort Sherman Playground, and that's at the shores of the lake. During the winter time, they set up a spectacular ice rink at McEwen Park, and there's igloos and fire rings and hot drinks. It's a really fun family event. Plus you have Tubbs Hill, which is absolutely amazing. Great hiking, great views, super convenient during the summertime. And then you have the Coeur d'Alene Resort that's sandwiched between everything I just spoke about. And in front of the Coeur d'Alene Resort, you have Sherman Avenue, which serves as the main artery to downtown Coeur d'Alene. But let's go back to the resort real quick. In the winter, they have a cruise called Journey to the North Pole, where Santa makes an appearance, and it ends with a firework display. Now in Sandpoint, we have City Beach, which is absolutely a big joy. In the summertime, there's endless swimming opportunities, plus it's easy to get to. It's easy to get a paddle boat onto the water. You can walk right into downtown, which may not be as impressive or maybe not have as many options as Coeur d'Alene, but it holds its own with its charm and several mom and pop shops. What really separates Sandpoint and Coeur d'Alene are the outdoor activities and the proximity to your house. Example, Schweitzer Mountain Resort, it's right in your backyard, along with the Idaho Club, the Jack Nicklaus Signature Golf Course, Lake Pend Oreille, and there's all sorts of hiking and riding trails. Riding is like horseback riding, ATVs, get your ski-doo out in the wintertime. Well, let's talk more about Schweitzer real quick. The expansion of the resort has been going bonkers, insane over the last couple of years. And with Altura Mountain Company now taking over ownership, the amenities and activities being offered up on the mountain is only going to increase and get better. If you have an active lifestyle, or you have a family that likes to be outdoors and enjoy those type of activities in your backyard and without all the extra people around, then Sandpoint is the clear winner. I do want to make 2 honorable mentions. Triple Play Family Fun Park, which is in Hayden, is just north of Coeur d'Alene. It's a great place for family fun, and it's open year-round. The second honorable mention is Silverwood. It's a theme park. It's located in Athol. It's right between Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, maybe a little bit closer to Coeur d'Alene. Silverwood is open seasonally, and it's something that you would not expect to find this far into the Pacific Northwest. Now let's talk about airports. How long is it going to take you to get to the airport? I get asked this all the time. In Coeur d'Alene, it's about 35 miles to the Spokane International Airport. Basically, it's all highway driving, and it should take you right around 40 minutes to get there. So long as there's no accidents on the highway, right? Now, honestly, the drive is not that bad. It's probably very similar, maybe just a tad longer from some of the bigger city airports. Now, coming from Sandpoint, it's 78 miles, and it's going to take you about an hour and 25 minutes. And here's a pro tip for you. When you're headed to the airport and you're coming down Highway 95, when you get to Highway 53, make sure you go west towards Rathdrum. And once you get to Post Falls, go south to the 90. This way you can bypass Coeur d'Alene and the gauntlet of red lights and traffic that you typically would go through. Now let's talk about amenities. And we can sum this up pretty quickly. Coeur d'Alene is going to have many more amenities than Sandpoint. And if you're somebody who wants options and convenience, then Coeur d'Alene is going to be for you. For shopping and big box stores, you have Walmart and Target, Ross, TJ Maxx, and many more options. While in Sandpoint, you have North 40 and Walmart for your everyday shopping, clothes shopping. In Sandpoint, there is Home Depot and a decent size Ace Hardware. But in Coeur d'Alene, you have those options as well, but you have Lowe's and a few others as well. With restaurants, there are many more options in Coeur d'Alene, and that's kind of the theme, just more options in Coeur d'Alene. However, the quantity does not always beat out the quality. And surprisingly, for such a small town, Sandpoint has amazing restaurants. You have the Smokesmith Barbecue. The food just melts in your mouth. You have the Pack River, which is fine dining out in the middle of it's not really out in the middle of nowhere, but for some people they consider it out in the middle of nowhere. In town, you have the Fat Pig, you have the 313, Powder Hound, Burger Doc, and there's so many more savory local favorites. Let's move on to healthcare. Coeur d'Alene takes the show again here with Kootenai Health Hospital. It's a level 3 trauma center, and they have many more specialty healthcare services. In Sandpoint, there is a hospital, Bonner General. It's a level 4 trauma center, and they have a few specialty offices. But what happens, most people in Sandpoint will make the trip to Kootenai Health for most of their health services outside of the family doctor, same-day procedures, and dental. Now, I do recommend getting life flight insurance, especially if you live north of Coeur d'Alene. For the household, this insurance costs about $50. And if you get injured or you need to be airlifted to Kootenai Health or to Spokane, you're going to be covered, and it's going to save you thousands of dollars. We could discuss politics, but Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, again, very similar in this regard. Yes, there are Democrats in North Idaho, but you're going to find a lot more Republicans. Shocker, right? What I do want to touch base on is this floating idea that white supremacy is up here and that's a big problem. Yeah, decades ago, there was white supremacy groups up here. There was Ruby Ridge, and every now and then I see these comments as if there's parades of all these white supremacy parades that are going downtown, and that's just not the case. It's just a bunch of malarkey. And here's a story I like to share with people when they start asking me about how many liberals and conservatives are in North Idaho. What's really encouraging, back in 2020, during all those riots around the country, Antifa made an announcement that they were headed from Spokane to Coeur d'Alene. And it was just a beautiful sight to see all the citizens of Coeur d'Alene band together, fill the streets with their AR-15s and other guns. And when Antifa showed up, they kept on rolling by. Now, Sandpoint, they caught wind of this and they organized pretty quickly to start blocking south of the Long Bridge so Antifa could not get into Sandpoint. Go ahead and leave me a comment below. Let me know what town sounds like the better option for you, And if you're planning to make a move to North Idaho, be sure to text Buyer Guide, BUYERGUIDE, one word, to 208-400-6162, and I'll send you a copy of my buyer strategy guide.